Hello everyone, this is Six Path Weeb, and welcome back to the channel. Today's fanfiction topic is: what if Naruko bonded with a Cybertronian? Part 2. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. The content on this channel is made for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any anime footage, music, or visuals used in this video. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. Naruko let a soft smile appear on her face. But I've been thinking about calling Mom and telling her we plan to come over. And you know Mom, she'll probably make a huge bouquet just for the two of us, Naruko said with a light laugh. Her mother always loved doing extra thoughtful things for her and Samui, even when it wasn't really necessary. Samui smiled warmly. That sounds nice. Hopefully your godfather isn't there, though. Naruko glanced over at her while waiting at a long red light. You still don't like Jiraiya? She asked with an amused grin. Samui crossed her arms and sighed dramatically. He's strange and way too nosy. Naruko chuckled softly. Yeah, I can't really argue with that. Somehow he's married, though. I still have no idea how he managed that. Married to who? Samui asked curiously. Her name's Toaka, Naruko explained as the light finally turned green. She used to work in the Navy, and she's really kind. Honestly, she balances him out pretty well. Samui laughed quietly. Maybe she has endless patience. Probably, Naruko agreed with a grin. Even Tsunade and Orochimaru get tired of him sometimes, and they've known him forever. The two continued driving through the peaceful neighborhood streets while the evening sky glowed orange and pink above them. A moment later, Samui noticed Naruko suddenly making a funny face. Are you okay? You look like you swallowed a lemon. Naruko groaned dramatically. I just remembered one of Orochimaru's super weird science experiments from years ago. Trust me, you do not want details. Samui laughed so hard she nearly dropped her phone. You're unbelievable. Trying to distract herself, she picked up Naruko's phone and scrolled through the music playlist connected to the car speakers. What are you looking for? Naruko asked. Something fun. Samui tapped the screen proudly. There. Perfect. Music filled the car, and Naruko instantly relaxed in her seat. I knew this would cheer you up, Samui said. Oh, and did you buy the concert tickets yet? Naruko nodded confidently. Already done. I know how excited you've been. Besides, I'm the one who introduced you to Yeji's music, remember? Samui narrowed her eyes playfully. You don't have to sound so proud about it. Naruko laughed just before Samui gently poked her side. Hey! Naruko yelped. That's what you get, Samui replied smugly. Naruko grinned mischievously. You make the funniest reactions sometimes. Samui tried to stay serious, but a smile escaped anyway. You're lucky I care about you, Naruko. The blonde racer immediately brightened. Aw, you really do care. You're ridiculous, Samui muttered, though her voice carried obvious affection. Naruko parked the car in the driveway of their large gray house inside the quiet gated community. After turning off the engine, she leaned her head against Samui's shoulder with a happy sigh. But I'm your ridiculous person, Naruko teased. Samui rolled her eyes, unable to stop smiling. Before Samui could answer, Naruko suddenly made a silly face and lightly bumped her forehead against Samui's shoulder, making them both burst into laughter as they headed inside together. Naruko rubbed her nose with a playful huff as Samui gently flicked it with her finger. The older kunoichi crossed her arms and gave a calm smile while the young blonde pouted dramatically. You really are a silly girl sometimes, Samui said with a soft laugh. Naruko puffed her cheeks. Hey! I'm trying my best. Samui reached over and lightly ruffled Naruko's bright blonde hair, causing Naruko to grin despite herself. The two of them sat together beneath the warm evening sky outside the Hidden Cloud Village training grounds. A cool breeze danced through the trees while lanterns glowed in the distance. I guess you're my favorite troublemaker, Samui admitted. Naruko's blue eyes widened happily. Really? Really? Naruko beamed so brightly it could have rivaled the stars overhead. Before Naruko could say anything else, Samui handed her a small wrapped snack from her bag. You worked hard today, so you earned this. Naruko immediately tore open the wrapper and gasped. Sweet bean buns. You're easy to please, Samui said. That's because food is awesome. The two laughed together while Naruko happily munched on her treat. Far away among the stars, on the metallic planet of Cybertron, a very different conversation was taking place. Inside the towering Decepticon war room, giant metal warriors stood before glowing screens filled with maps and star charts. Starscream glanced nervously toward Megatron, the fearsome leader of the Decepticons. Will Onslaught be the only one joining the mission? Starscream asked carefully. Megatron shook his head. No. Several others will travel with you. This mission is important. The giant screen shifted, revealing the image of a blue and green planet floating peacefully through space. This world is called Earth, explained Shockwave in his calm mechanical voice. It is home to humans, animals, forests, and oceans. Starscream tilted his head curiously. It looks small. Perhaps, Shockwave replied, but Earth is full of surprises. Megatron folded his arms while studying the planet. And the object we seek is hidden there? Yes, Shockwave answered. The Magna Saber's signal was detected somewhere on Earth. The room grew quiet. Far below on Earth, Naruko sat beneath the evening sky completely unaware that visitors from another world might soon arrive on her planet. She stretched her arms behind her head and smiled peacefully. I wonder what tomorrow's adventure will bring, she said happily. Above her, the stars shimmered brightly, as if they already knew the answer. Shockwave gave a calm nod as the screen flickered to life. Naruko and the other Decepticons watched carefully as images of human technology appeared one after another. First came small tools used by soldiers, then larger machines such as tanks, ships, submarines, and swift combat jets flying through the clouds. Soon, the screen showed powerful devices launching bright flashes across the sea toward a lonely island, leaving the land dark and empty afterward. The final image showed a massive metal object unlike anything the Decepticons had seen before. Starscream tilted his head. Shockwave, what was that last weapon? It did not look like an ordinary rocket. Shockwave turned toward him, his single optic glowing softly. Humans call it a nuke. It is among the strongest weapons their world has created. Though it is not equal to Cybertronian technology, it could still greatly harm us if we are careless. The room became quiet for a moment. Even the proudest Decepticons understood that Earth's people were not entirely defenseless. Starscream folded his arms thoughtfully. Then it would be wise for us to remain hidden. While we are stronger than the humans, there is no reason to attract unnecessary attention. You are correct, Shockwave replied in his usual calm tone. Our mission is to locate and recover the Magna Saber. We are not traveling to Earth to battle its people. Megatron sat upon his throne, his sharp gaze sweeping across the chamber. I am pleased that you understand the importance of this mission. If humans discover your presence, handle the situation carefully. Your true goal is the Magna Saber. Starscream nodded respectfully. Understood, Lord Megatron. And what if Earth's military interferes? Megatron's expression hardened. Only fight if absolutely necessary. We must not waste time or energy. The Magna Saber is far more important. Far beneath his stern expression, Megatron sensed something unusual about Earth. His instincts told him that another ancient power might also be hidden there. Perhaps the legendary lights of Orion are on that planet as well, Megatron thought silently. If the Autobots discover them first, the balance could change forever. He rose from his throne and looked toward Shockwave. Gather the others. I will explain the mission only once. Shockwave obeyed immediately. Minutes later, he returned with Onslaught, Flatline, Thundercracker, Bludgeon, Octopunch, Nightbird, Nemesis Breaker, Dead End, Breakdown, K-On, and Naruko. Naruko stood near the back of the group, her bright golden hair tied neatly behind her head. Her blue optics sparkled with curiosity as she listened carefully. Megatron addressed them all. The Magna Saber has been detected on Earth. Shockwave also believes the lights of Orion may be hidden there. Because of this, the Autobots may soon arrive as well. Shockwave stepped forward. To avoid discovery, all of you will adopt disguises suited to Earth. This will help you move among the humans unnoticed while searching for the artifacts. The Decepticons nodded in agreement. Then Megatron pointed toward Starscream. Starscream will lead this mission. Shockwave will serve as second in command. A look of surprise crossed Starscream's face before she bowed respectfully. Thank you, Lord Megatron. I will not fail. Megatron stepped closer, his voice low and serious. See that you do not. This mission is too important for mistakes. Naruko watched quietly from her place beside Thundercracker. Unlike some of the others, she seemed more interested in Earth itself than in battle. The idea of a planet filled with oceans, forests, and living creatures fascinated her. Thundercracker noticed her thoughtful expression. You seem curious, he whispered. Naruko smiled softly. I am. Earth sounds different from Cybertron. I wonder what humans are really like. Thundercracker gave a small shrug. We will soon find out. Megatron raised his hand, bringing silence back to the chamber. Prepare for departure immediately. The Magna Saber must belong to the Decepticons before the Autobots arrive. The Decepticons answered together, yes, Lord Megatron. As the meeting ended, Naruko glanced once more at the glowing image of Earth upon the screen. Somewhere on that distant blue planet waited ancient secrets, mysterious powers, and perhaps adventures none of them expected. Starscream could not help shivering at Megatron's cold voice. Even more frightening was the hard look in Megatron's eyes, which showed no kindness at all. Why yes, of course, Starscream stammered. She bowed low, pressing her faceplate to the metallic floor. Nearby, the skilled Decepticon Nightbird turned toward her leader without fear. When do we depart, my lord? She asked calmly. Megatron gave a sharp grin. Immediately. Starscream quickly stood and guided the group toward a massive ship that was already preparing a course for Earth. Flame War, Thunderblast, Soundwave, report here, Megatron commanded. The three Decepticons arrived without delay and bowed respectfully. What is your command, my lord? Asked Flame War in a serious voice. Megatron appreciated these warriors far more than many others. Flame War and Soundwave were excellent at gathering information, while Thunderblast had a talent for difficult missions that required patience and strategy. You may stand, Megatron ordered. The three rose to their feet. Megatron looked toward Flame War and Thunderblast. Tell me what you have discovered. Thunderblast's yellow optics focused carefully on him. Lord Megatron, we have learned that Optimus Prime is sending a team to Earth. Megatron narrowed his eyes thoughtfully. Ratchet recently discovered that the legendary lights of Orion may be hidden somewhere on Earth, Flame War explained. Optimus Prime has asked a young Autobot named Hot Rod to locate it. Does Prime know its exact location? Megatron asked. Both Decepticons shook their heads. Megatron stroked his chin slowly. Both the lights of Orion and the Magna Saber appearing on Earth at the same time is no coincidence, he muttered. He turned toward Thunderblast again. Has Prime chosen his team? No, my lord, Thunderblast answered. But we also learned that Optimus Prime has scientists working on a secret project called Zeroid Deva. Megatron looked interested. We could not discover exactly what the project is, Thunderblast continued carefully. Prime mentioned that Perceptor and Wheeljack are close to finishing it. Most of their conversations focused on Earth instead. We apologize for not learning more. Instead of growing angry, Megatron let out a low chuckle. You have both done well, he said. You have made me proud. You are dismissed. Flame War nodded respectfully. We will continue watching the Autobots and report anything new. See that you do, Megatron replied. Flame War quietly shivered at the warning in his voice, though she remained loyal and determined. Thunderblast, however, seemed strangely excited. She admired Megatron's confidence and believed no one else was worthy of leading the Decepticons. As Flame War and Thunderblast left the chamber, Megatron turned toward Soundwave. Tell me, Soundwave, he said with a sly grin, how are your projects progressing? All systems are operational, my lord, Soundwave replied in her calm robotic tone. They are ready for missions. Megatron's grin widened even more. Excellent. With Kaon joining Starscream, the Decepticon Justice Division will need a new communications officer. Soundwave placed a fist against her chest. I will not fail you. I know, Megatron answered. Tarn will explain your next mission. The two then separated, heading in different directions through the giant metallic fortress. Soundwave traveled toward the meeting chamber where Tarn waited, while Megatron made his way to the laboratory sector. Inside the lab, the scientist Knockout worked busily at a glowing computer terminal. Seeing Megatron arrive, Knockout quickly bowed. Megatron then turned his attention toward a large holding chamber nearby. Inside rested Bumblebee, the brave Autobot scout. Megatron folded his arms and smiled thoughtfully, already planning his next move. Far away on Earth, beneath a bright blue sky, a cheerful young ninja named Naruko Uzumaki raced through the Hidden Leaf Village with a bright smile on her face. She had no idea that strange visitors from the stars were heading toward her world, or that a great adventure was about to begin. Breakdown turned toward Kaon with an uneasy look in his optics. He still was not sure how he felt about the former Decepticon Justice Division member. Kaon rarely spoke, and when she did, her voice sounded cold and distant, like the dark silence of deep space. Her glowing optics seemed empty at times, and that unsettled Breakdown more than he cared to admit. Breakdown shook the thought away and looked at Starscream instead. "So, what's the plan, fearless leader?" Breakdown asked. Starscream folded his arms proudly and turned his attention toward Dead End and Thundercracker, who were piloting the spacecraft. "Our first priority is to find a safe base of operations," Starscream explained. "After that, we'll each choose vehicle disguises so the humans will not notice us. Once that is done, we can begin setting up our new headquarters." Kaon slowly nodded. "That plan is acceptable," she said calmly. "We will need a location where humans rarely travel. Earth is crowded and unpredictable." Octopunch tilted his head curiously. "Why are you so interested in finding Autobots here?" he asked. Kaon gave a faint smile, though this one looked more thoughtful than frightening. "Because every Decepticon believes in proving their strength," she answered. "And Autobots never stop challenging us." The others exchanged uncertain glances. Kaon's serious nature often made everyone uncomfortable, even when she was simply speaking honestly. Starscream quickly redirected the conversation before the mood grew too tense. "Shockwave," he said, "have you located a suitable place for our base?" Shockwave's single optic glowed brightly. "Yes," she replied. "I have discovered 2 possible locations. One is near a dormant volcano. The other lies hidden among a network of canyons. The canyon region would provide better cover and fewer risks from environmental instability." Onslaught nodded in approval. "That sounds reasonable," he said. Starscream stroked his chin thoughtfully before making his decision. "The canyon base is the smarter choice," he declared. "Dead End, Thundercracker, set our course immediately." "Right away," Dead End replied. Thundercracker grinned excitedly. "Earth, here we come," she said cheerfully. Nemesis Breaker raised a massive fist proudly. "We are Decepticons," she announced. "No challenge will stop us from completing our mission for Cybertron." The others responded with determined agreement. "For Cybertron," they called together. Even Starscream looked impressed. "Well," she admitted with a smirk, "that certainly raised everyone's spirits." Far away from the ship, another adventure was already beginning. Timeskip. Location: Indian Ocean. Octopunch swam gracefully through the deep blue waters of Earth's oceans. While the others searched for vehicle disguises on land, she had become fascinated with human submarines. She loved how quietly they traveled beneath the waves. Still, finding the perfect one had not been easy. Octopunch muttered to herself. "Most of these submarines are far too small." She crossed her arms and continued searching through the water until something large caught her attention in the distance. Her optics widened happily. "Now that one looks impressive," she said. Carefully scanning the submarine, Octopunch transformed her systems to copy its appearance. Within moments, she had a brand new alternate form. She spun excitedly underwater before laughing softly. "I wonder what everyone else chose for their disguises," she wondered aloud. Meanwhile, somewhere on Earth, a young ninja named Naruko Uzumaki gazed up at the evening sky with bright, hopeful eyes. She had no idea that visitors from another world had just arrived on her planet. But deep inside, Naruko could already sense that a strange and unforgettable adventure was about to begin. 3 days later. Location: Konoha Embassy Safehouse, Brazil. A soft ringtone echoed through the quiet room, causing the sleeping blonde girl to stir beneath a mountain of blankets. Naruko Uzumaki groaned and buried her face deeper into the pillow. Her bright golden hair was a tangled mess, and one violet eye barely peeked open before squeezing shut again. Her phone continued vibrating across the nightstand. "Who even calls at 3 in the morning?" she mumbled sleepily. Beside her, Samui slowly opened her icy blue eyes and sighed. "Someone with terrible timing." Naruko reached for the phone without looking and answered it with a tired yawn. "Hello?" Finally, Kaoru shouted through the speaker. "Do you know how many times I called?" Naruko winced and held the phone farther away. "Kaoru. It's still nighttime." "Well, yeah, but..." Click. Naruko calmly ended the call and dropped the phone back onto the table. Samui gave a quiet laugh. "You hung up on her." "She'll survive," Naruko replied. Unfortunately, the phone immediately began vibrating again. Naruko stared at it in disbelief. Samui picked it up before Naruko could react. "Kaoru," she said firmly, "whatever this is can wait until morning. Please stop waking people up." After a brief pause, Samui hung up again and silenced the phone completely. "There," she said. "Problem solved." Naruko smiled warmly. You're amazing. Samui rested her head against Naruko's shoulder. I know. Outside the window, the city lights shimmered beneath the calm night sky. Far above the clouds, something enormous streaked silently across the moonlight. Thundercracker. The towering Cybertronian flew high above Brazil in his jet form, his engines glowing softly against the darkness. Unlike before, tonight he wasn't searching for trouble. He simply observed the world below with curiosity. These humans really do stay awake at strange hours, he muttered to himself. Back in California, Onslaught drove carefully along a lonely highway in his truck form. Even the mighty Decepticon found Earth fascinating in unexpected ways. Road systems are surprisingly efficient, he admitted grudgingly. Meanwhile, in New York City, Nightbird sped through the glowing streets while keeping a close optic on Dead End and K-On, who were still treating every traffic light like a race challenge. Try not to hit anything this time, Nightbird warned over the comm channel. No promises, K-On laughed. Dead End swerved around a corner dramatically before slowing down beside a food truck. Wait. Humans put cheese on fries? A moment later, both Decepticons had completely forgotten about racing. Back at the safe house, Naruko sat up and stretched. She suddenly froze. Wait a second. Samui blinked. What is it? Naruko pointed toward the window dramatically. Did you hear that? A distant sonic boom rumbled across the sky. Far above the clouds, Thundercracker passed overhead once more like a blue comet. Samui calmly looked outside. Probably another aircraft. Naruko grinned excitedly. Or a giant alien robot. Samui gave her an amused look. You say that like it's normal. For me? It usually is. The two girls shared a laugh as the peaceful night continued around them, completely unaware that their paths and the Cybertronians would soon cross in the most unexpected way imaginable. Dear YouTube family. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content ahead. Thank you for your support and for being part of the journey. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.